Hey, I'm Caleb, and it's great to have the leather stuff out again for the first time in years. As part of the 12 Gifts of Christmas that I'm doing with Rick from Woodwork Life, I'm going to make a wine gift bag, satchel, carry case thing, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, stick with me and I'll show you how you can make this too.
I started out by using a wine bottle to draw a hopefully properly sized circle. As I mark out the rest of the piece, I'll keep in mind that this bottle is normal width, but shorter than usual. Fortunately, that's an adjustment I have to make for most of my builds, so I won't forget. There are lots of fancy leather knives available, but I like a utility knife with a fresh slicer in it. I found that a sharp blade hurts less when I cut myself with it, and there's a better chance the urgent care clinic can close it with glue instead of stitches. Pro tips for life. My side pieces need to be about 6 by 12, so I use my large speed square, which is really a slow triangle, to mark out a square that is a 12 by 12 area that I cut in half. I like to use a grooving tool to make a groove wherever I'll be stitching. It gives me a line to follow and recesses the stitching some, which minimizes abrasion and helps them last longer. Basically the opposite of the seam in your socks that gets stuck in your toenails. After I've gotten my groove on, it's time to start punching holes for the stitching. I like to use my diamond chisels for this. I found that it's easier to get the needles in the diamond holes than the flat slots. The bottom is the trickiest and slowest because it's all round, so I have to use my 2-prong chisel, which means I basically only cut one hole at a time. Repositioning one of the prongs in the hole previous makes sure that the spacing stays equal and the stitches look good. Once I get to the sides with the straight seams, I can switch to my 6-prong chisel and it goes a lot faster. Next, I skive the back side of the seams that'll get turned inside out, because that's a sewing technique thing. There's a special tool for this that I don't have, so I'll just keep using my coat cutter. I'm sure someone will correct my terminology in the comments, but in case it's not clear, my channel is called YouCanMakeThisToo because I'm an amateur idiot that still manages to make stuff somehow, so I'm sure that you can too. Not because I'm a great instructor or even know what I'm doing. It seemed wise to dye the leather before sewing it together so I could get full coverage. But first I applied some dye prep because it was in my box of leather stuff from the last time I messed with this years ago and it sounded like something to do before dyeing. So I did that, then I applied the dye. Then I realized that I didn't transfer the holes for the handles onto the side pieces yet, so I do that before I start assembling. I started assembly by saddle stitching the bottom to the sides, just slowly working my way all the way around. The one tip I have to offer here is start with a piece of thread about 4 times longer than whatever you're sewing. After I made it all the way around the bottom, I started going up the sides. I stopped overnight and apparently my dye is bad. This is all green and also I had some tear out here. I'm not liking the way this is coming together, so I'm gonna rip all this, over dye it with some black, and try a different approach. Now begins the attempted salvage. I'm going to try an inside-out seam on the sides as well, like on the bottom. So that starts with removing what I've already stitched. And this seems like a good point to try over-dyeing the brown turned green dye with some equally old but water-based black dye. This is kind of a bummer because I do prefer brown leather. After the black dye dried, I turned the bag inside out and got to stitching again. After I finish one side, I realize that it'll be a lot easier to attach the handles now rather than after the bag is closed up, so I knocked that out and then set to stitching up the other side. With the bag stitched up, it's time to turn it right side out, but surprise, it was too stiff for me to do anything with it, a problem that I've never experienced before. Fortunately, applying some water made the leather supple enough that I was able to turn it around with lots of coaxing. But after that it was pretty limp and lifeless, which is something I do have experience with. But before I work on forming, I'm going to saddle stitch the handles into a roll while they're still pliable. I think that'll be more comfortable and look better, though I do kind of dig the flat look here as well. Oh, and all I'm going to do to help the shape is stick a larger wine bottle in the bag while it dries, which will help pull it smooth and just look better. And there you have it. With just a few hours and a good bottle of wine's worth of leather, you can class up a cheap bottle of wine. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something or were at least entertained. And until next time, make time to make something.